Getting set up for the 160 draw, shortly to take place.
Just say hello and thank you for popping in to see us. This is the first AGM we've had since 2019. We've got the minutes from 2019, however we do have a report and accounts from both years, obviously, from 2019 and 2020. At the AGM, all the current committee stand down, and then people can be nominated or put themselves forward to be committee members. And if we happen to get more than 10 people wanting to be a committee member, and that excludes appointed members from regular hiring groups, then don't laugh, Mother. Yeah. Then we would have to have a vote. But if we get under 10 nominations, we don't have to have a vote, and people can be elected en bloc. So the current committee trustees are Jeff, me, Helen. It's Rowan. Rowan's had to go on. Rowan's had to go on. Rowan was the guy doing the 160 club draw. And then with Ian, if Ian would like to just wave. Okay. So this is the current committee standing down. We did lose some committee members during this year. We lost Brian Ranger, who had been chairperson for an awful lot of years, and Hilary Ranger. They've moved to the Isle of Wight, and Brian Carr, who is also the parish council rep, but he stepped down as trustee. So is everybody happy for the 2019 minutes to be signed off? So those who were here, are you happy?
Yep.
Good, okay, I will sign a copy. And Helen, you can follow. Okay, we have a report for 2019, the whole year of 2019, and then we have one for 2020. I just explained we lost a few trustees over that period of time. The key points, really, we had unrestricted income in 2019, which was a bit higher than the previous year, which is always good. We always like to think we've got income going up. And it was mostly because we had more hire and we weren't too badly off for expenses. Usual thing, and this was both years really, we depend fantastically on volunteers. We do not employ anyone. We have no employees, we have some suppliers, so things like electrics, cleaning, doing the security, those sorts of things, but grass cutting on the field and around the hall. Used to be volunteers, but unfortunately we now have to pay for that. So, compared to 2019, in 2020, the unrestricted income was down, but as you can imagine, last year we were closed for most of the year, so it's not a surprise. I'll leave Jeff to talk about the key points behind the facts and figures. The main thing over the whole 2 years, obviously 2019, as I say, we had quite a bit of hire. 2020 we not open very often, but during that period of time we have been continuing to support the Welle Parish Neighbourhood Plan, and I don't know whether recently you noticed there was the referendum as to whether the parish would or wouldn't adopt the plan, and I'm pleased to say it was adopted, because one of the things that was part of that plan is that the Mr. Dick Johnson, who owns the field next door, when the plan had a call for sites, he actually put his field next door forward for housing. And as part of that, if the development does ever go ahead, the village hall will be donated, a large car park area, which we desperately need. Yeah. So we were very keen to support that because our car park is not big enough. In return, the access to the development would go behind the hall, so not from the main road, so which would make a lot of sense. So, and I think that was one of the reasons why it was accepted. So we're really hoping that that's going to move ahead soon because we do desperately need the car park. The hall, we've had it repainted during the time that the hall was closed. I think we'll agree, it looks pretty nice and bright. We're going to have to get the roof repaired. We need some repairs doing on the outside of the building as well, where we've got sort of gutters need replacing, where water is starting to eat away around the base of the building. So we're going to need a big grant. So it's always a task looking for big grants, but that's part of being a charity in a small village. We have to keep looking. Fortunately, there are pots. Sometimes, you know, we can get all that we need, sometimes we can't. Over the years, we've done very well with grants. We've got a nice grant to have all the film equipment installed and to set up a cinema group, which will restart in the first weekend of September, COVID permitting as usual. We've also had big grants in the past to get the children's play equipment on the field. That was the big lottery, I think, wasn't it? Sally and Mum, you were involved there?
Sally.
Yeah. And that was a competition run nationally from ITV, and I think we were one of the smallest communities to get a grant. So we were really proud of ourselves for doing that, because it needed votes from the public to get it. We tried to keep the hall and the field running. The field, obviously, we don't get any income from the field. We have no football meeting on the field and using it, and unfortunately, it would be a while before the field would be fit to play a decent game of football on at the moment. But the play equipment's inspected every year, and it has to meet safety standards, which it does. And so we keep that going. The main cost is always the grass cutting. And a couple of years back, we had to have all the poplar trees taken down because it was discovered they were rotten through the middles. And so it was too dangerous to leave them. So that was quite a big expense, but we got part of it paid with a grant from the Borough Council. And this is how we keep it all going, really. We would like to have more activities. When I was a kid, there used to be a lot more children's activities, not many at all now, but I am pleased to say that we do have a toddler group meeting every week on a Wednesday now, or every week in term time. And when it comes to the autumn term, they are going to be having some additional singing and signing sessions straight after the toddler group. So I'm really pleased about that. That's the people who run the toddler group also run the preschool at Welle Primary. So it gets the children used to thinking about school. And it's very well attended. During the COVID restrictions, they'd even got a waiting list. So really delighted that that's taken off. And that it's something that we can have for children. Hope eventually, when we get some sort of normality back, that we will get more activities for children and the older children as well. But as I'm sure you all know, these days, which was different from when I was a kid, everybody has to be DBS checked, and it's very strict on how you can run activities, and it is a big consideration for anybody to set up and run these events anymore. But we live in hope, and we can always get grants if people are interested. We can always get the grants to do these things. So that's my reports. Jeff, I'll hand over to you.
Thank you, Sue. Okay.
I'm the treasurer. Excuse my throat. I've got a bit of a throat on at the moment, but I'll do my best. I'm the treasurer, and I get money thrown at me from all over the place, and I have to try and actually sort it out into its piles. As you can, have you got the?
You're doing your own there.
2019. We'll start with that, shall we? Okay, that's the front sheet. Basically, there's me. Okay, right. Now, it's laid out into 3 different years from 2017. I was asked to do this purely because people like to see the changes, the differences that are made over the years. So I lay out this report in 3-year steps. Anything below 3 years I don't look at all. I can go back there, but I don't need to. Right, you can see the restricted, we didn't get any restricted over 2019. None of that came in, so that was all 0. Unrestricted, this is hall hire. This is just purely people hiring the hall over the year. You can see our main money came from the Welle Cinema, auction, bingo and bowls. We did get some private hire. These were people who hired it for once a week for dance lessons. Our fundraising, we actually raised, normally that's around about the money we raised, 1,704 on the 160 Club. The 160 Club usually gives out 1,000, just over £1,000, £1,100. So it raises for the hall around £600. We had a tool fair, which there wasn't a lot of stalls. We only had about 4 stalls, but there was a lot of people came in. A lot of people enjoyed it. I think it's worth having a think once we're back up and running as to whether we can do that again. I thought it was quite a success, even though we didn't have the stalls. If we can get more people interested in coming here for that, it would be good. We also had the Christmas bingo, which was run by Dennis. So that's generally our income for the year. Our expenditure, as you can see, we don't have an expenditure on a lot of items because it is just purely hall hire. So that's why there's so many zeros down there. Obviously the cinema club, they have expenditures on total funds was 17. There's not a lot. I kept the security and the cutting grass and that sort of thing up there in case anyone really wanted to see how the breakdown of that was. Because don't forget, we still had to pay for cutting the grass and all those things that have to keep going while the hall's not working. And that, I think, is just about the report.
Right.
Is that okay for everyone?
Everybody happy with those reports? Can I sign them off? Anybody unhappy, please say so now. Everybody happy? Right. So we come to the exciting bit. As I said earlier, all the trustees stand down every year. They are free to put themselves forward again for nomination, and if we can, I know, bless him, I would like to nominate our treasurer, Jeff. Would you like to stand as a trustee?
I suppose I have to.
As long as he paid for his own holidays.
I'll say I'm happy to stand again. I think my mum would shoot me if I didn't.
Yeah, and I'll second you on that. Helen?
Yes, unless anybody else wants to go.
And I'll second you.
I'll second again.
Oh, 2 seconds. All right.
No, I can go on, didn't I? I think is your son prepared to?
You don't know, do you? I don't know.
I can't speak for him.
I should think he is, but I don't know.
Okay.
He's supposed to be back by now.
Is
a bit of a tinker at
It's
it.
nice to have the youth side of things, isn't it?
It is.
The technology side of things.
Yeah.
Ian, are you happy to stand again? Of course you
Volunteer it is.
are. Are you going to rejoin us? Right. So, oh yes. Yes, Mark Hempson. No, he's gone. But he did say he would. Yeah. And as I say, we can take representatives from groups, so we can have one representative from each group. So, but we'll deal with anybody else like to come and join us as a committee member.
Don't all speak at once.
Okay, so we have Jeff Foxnoble, Sue Lowe, Helen Hartley, Ian Higgins, Anne Higgins, Mark Henson.
Question mark Rowan.
And question mark Rowan,
That's a question.
because he hasn't said whether or not he is or isn't. So, as we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what's that, 7, we can appoint them en bloc. Yeah, got everybody's name?
Yeah. You counted Rowan in
So-
seconds.
Can we have a show of hands? Is everybody happy for those people to be appointed? Yeah?
Yeah.
Anybody unhappy? No, everybody here happy? Okay. Right, now, we come on to our appointed groups. So, Mr. Cooper,
Yes, here.
Welle Film Productions.
Yes, I'm willing to help on that.
Okay. And then we have Mr. Martin for the bingo. Yep. Happy?
Yes. I've got 3 tea and a coffee, thank you.
That's what you have with Dennis, is it?
My biscuits.
And
Hello.
French for, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. I had asked the toddler group, and it may be that they couldn't make it today, and because they don't have to be elected, because they can be appointed, we can do that after today. So I'm hoping that somebody from the toddler group would, you know, don't have to come to every committee meeting, but it is nice for the hirers to be able to at least come along and help steer what goes on. And I think Pam Russell had said she would as well, didn't she, for the Bowls Club? Yeah. Okay. We will not elect officers today, so the position of chair, treasurer, secretary, etc., vice chair, we will leave until the first meeting of the new committee. Okay. The elected trustees will need to sign a trustee eligibility form, and I've got those with me. And I think that is it, unless anybody now has any questions they would like to ask, or any suggestions, if you haven't put them on the sticky board, of things that we could have and do at the hall. Or if you'd like to delegate a trustee in their absence quick before we finish, or perhaps a volunteer. Anybody would volunteer? I know we've got volunteers who are here who help with lots of things. Thank you very much. But anybody anything to add? No? Right, that is at least we got it done. The 2021 AGM happened. Hooray!